Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ian Campbell with Alpha Capital. Today we're going to be going over the enrollment process of the 401k plan. We're going to be going through a handful of documents which will be available to you either before this webinar or after, shortly after. Folks will and are required to either enroll online or sign a waiver if they're eligible to participate in the plan. We'll talk about both of those here in a little bit. We do highly recommend folks do the online enrollment process rather than the paper form. It's more secure, it's faster, and it's really easier for everybody. So the first attachment that we're going to hop into is the online enrollment packet, which is a series of 14 pages, the first one being a cover page. And then the second page is going to be where it says, let's get started. On the let's get started section, you will see that you have the first step is going to the provider's website, which is yourplanaccess.net/retirement plan consultants. Retirement plan consultants is the 401k provider or the record keeper. They'll be the website that you'll go to get access to your account. You'll then select online enrollment for the first time and enter the plan password, which is JJK, and then enter in all capital letters. For the purposes of the call, I did want to reference this guided step-by-step process for the online enrollment packet. On pages 8 through 12, you will see each step of the online enrollment process there in a picture and also a highlighted task to do. It's very self-explanatory. If you have any additional questions on that, on the actual live website, where I've highlighted in blue underneath the online enrollment box in the top left corner, there will be a link where it'll say online enrollment video. It is a YouTube video link that you can go and watch if you need additional assistance on enrolling online. So again, pages 8 through 12 are going to be the online enrollment step-by-step guide. For the purposes of the call, I did want to go and pull up the actual PDF enrollment form, which we'll make available to John in the event that people need to use the paper form or also sign this as a waiver. So we'll follow up with that here shortly. For the enrollment application, the reason why we want to bring this up is to give you an idea of what type of information you're going to be inputting on the website and what types of decisions you're going to be making throughout the online enrollment process. Below, you'll see everything's pretty self-explanatory. The one unique piece is going to be your date of hire. So if you've forgotten that, double check it there with the team. Make sure you do have that before you enroll online.
There's a 1-year eligibility requirement.
So was there a question or just the statement there?
No, I was just saying that there's a 1-year enrollment eligibility criteria.
Correct. Yep. And that's, again, based off your date of hire. For the enrollment election is going to be, there's a couple of decisions that are around this. The first one being what type of contribution that you want to make. Do you want to make a pre-tax or traditional contribution, or do you want to make an after-tax Roth contribution? The difference between the two is either taxed on the inbound or it's taxed on the outbound. And depending on what your tax bracket is right now or what you foresee it to be in retirement, one may argue one being better than the other. We tend to see people that are in their younger years or in a lower tax bracket will tend to do Roth. And then those who are in their later working years or making or in a higher tax bracket, they'll do that pre-tax traditional contribution. You can adjust it at any time. Nothing is set in stone. That will just get reflective on payroll if you do change that. We tend to see people will stick with whatever their choice is, normally for the whole entire year rather than switching, mid-year. You can do both if you would like. So if you're going to save, say, 10%, you could do 5% Roth, 5% pre-tax if you wished. Are there any questions at all on pre-tax and traditional or Roth and after-tax at all? Okay.
No, I think we're good. We talked a little bit about that. They're going to tax you now or tax you later depending on the tax bracket.
Exactly, and there's no perfect answer because we don't know what tax rates are going to be in 10, 20, 30 years from now. It is somewhat of a best guess. Another argument would be is that if you're no longer working in retirement, you're effectively in a lower tax bracket in retirement anyways, just because you're taking Social Security and distributions. So one could argue it's going to be low now if you're younger. and it's also could be low when you're in retirement. We just don't know what tax rates are going to be, or the lowest tax rate's going to be in 30 years or 40 years from now. So going on to the next decision is going to be the how much question. The reason why you see those two boxes there, 8 and 10, is 8% is the national average of all individuals, all age groups across the country of what they are saving in their 401k plan. The 10% numbers there is if you were to ask any really financial professionals, read any savings articles around what should you be doing, 10% is the most common that you will see. Folks that are possibly behind the 8 ball on saving enough or saving in their 20s and 30s, you may be, even in that savings rate of around 15% to get caught up. So being realistic with your saving rate is going to be important. If you're going to save only 2 to 3% and hope that your retirement picture is going to be as bright as it is for others that are saving 10%, that's not too realistic. Again, use those as a watermark. If you're contemplating on possibly starting out at a lower percentage, say 2 or 3% or even 5%, consider bumping up your contribution by 1% each year. So what that would mean is if you're going to start at say 5, bump it up to 6 in a year from now, bump it up to 7 2 years from now, and so on. And just that 1% increase year after year, getting up to a higher percentage and kind of limping into a bigger number is a good way to do it rather than bite it all off at once. You can again change your contribution rate at any time. Whatever you decide today is not set in stone. So you've got the pre-tax and Roth, the how much question. Are there any questions at all on items that we've covered so far?
No.
Okay, so the third one option here is for those who do not wish to participate in the plan. You'll see that third option, I like not to contribute in the retirement plan at this time. This form, pages 2 and 3, will actually serve as a waiver. You'll fill out that top section with your information. You'll select this third box that you wish not to participate, sign the last page, and then turn it back into John. We don't need copies of that, John. It's going to be just for your records. Once they say no, it's not a no forever. They can enter the plan at any time in the future if they've met eligibility with quarterly enrollment. So January 1, April 1, July 1, and October 1 would be the entry dates in the plan. So if they've said no for January, they could say yes in April, they could say yes in July, and so on. Okay. You don't need to get the form updated every quarter either. Once you have one on file, that's good until a yes. The last decision is going to be around investments. We've got about 30 or so investment choices for you to pick and choose from. Part of Mark and I's role and responsibility as the advisor is to make sure this investment menu for you is the best that it possibly can be. We review these investments through an evaluation criteria every quarter to screen them on performance, their manager tenure, a lot of metrics around style consistency, risk, and so on to make sure that they are top tier, all of which are. With that being said, they're all low cost as well. They're all institutional grade mutual funds. But telling you all those wonderful things about the funds doesn't help you with picking them. So what we do from an ongoing advice, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it a little bit better, is we put together a model asset allocation guide. So the top larger rectangle is for those who want to be hands-on with their investments. And we've broken it out into 5 risk tolerances from conservative to aggressive on that far right-hand side. And we've put together what we feel would be appropriate to be diversified given those available fund choices. So if you were, say, 20 or 30 years old, that aggressive column would be appropriate for you. If you're 40s and 50s, that moderate aggressive column would be appropriate. And then folks in their 60s, that moderate 50-50 column would be appropriate as well. For those who are picking investments, there's no cost of going in and out of any investment choices. You can change them again just as frequently as you can change your contribution rate or traditional versus Roth. The ask, if you're going to pay attention to this guide, is as we update this quarterly, is that you're going to go and pay attention to the, call it recommended investment choices. You don't have to. You're free to do whatever else you want. But this is our kind of pick of the litter. If we were you and your 401k plan, this is what we would do. With the next box on the bottom left piece of this is more of a hands-off approach. These are what's called the target date funds. And target date funds are very popular. About 70% of all participants in the country saving in their 401k plan actually pick a target date fund as their sole investment choice because they're more of a set it and forget it. So with that being said, set it and forget it, autopilot, more hands-off would be the approach for those. You would find out what year it will be when you want to retire, or age 65, 70 area, and you'd find out where it would plot you on this chart. So if you're younger, you're going to be in a bigger year. If you're in your 60s, you're going to be closer to the present year. So depend on what year you are, you would pick 100% in that closest year. So if you had, say you're going to turn 65 or 67 in 2042, then this one fund is going to be your most appropriate fund, and you would go into that one fund at 100%. That would be your sole choice. The way these funds work is they're aggressive when you're younger, and they de-risk over time every 5 years to be conservative over time. The blue ones that I've highlighted, the bigger the year, is going to be similar to that aggressive column. The next four, from 25 to 40, are going to be in that moderate aggressive column from a risk standpoint. And then the top 3 or so that are closer to the present year are for those who are going to be in their 60s, and this is going to be more in that 50-50 or moderate risk tolerance. So again, this is more of an autopilot mentality for that. We've talked about 2 scenarios, one that's more hands-on following some guidance, and then the other more hands-off kind of autopilot. The third is you're free to do whatever else you would like. You can pick and choose whatever percentage of those investment choices. There's a lot of great options and a lot of great different choices as well. Our contact information is on the bottom of this sheet as well. As we've mentioned, we are available to each one of you if you have any questions about enrolling, want to talk to us about financial topics, or have questions about us that you want to ask in more of a personal setting. You're free to reach out to us via phone or email if you would like. I wanted to pause there. I've talked about changing investments. You can do it 24/7, 365 on the website. But are there any questions at all about the investment choices or any items that we've covered so far? Hey, quiet group today. So hopping back to the enrollment form, again, if you are going to sign this as a waiver, we do need you to sign the last page of that second page of the enrollment process. And we'll follow up with John with the 2-page attachment, so he has that available if there's anybody that needs that. As you complete the online enrollment, you will have an option to put in beneficiary information. In the event that you pass away, the monies go to whom you wish. So make sure that this is up to date, either spouse information, relatives, kids. Make sure you have that in there. You can update it 24/7, 365 on the website as well, but make sure you have something in there as you're going through that online process. And the last and final piece is going to be an account rollover form. In the event that you've got an old IRA, an old 401k out there that you want to consolidate, say it's maybe not being paid attention to that much or being neglected, you can consolidate those monies over to this plan if you wish to. There's normally about a $25 to $50 fee from the company that you're leaving for them to basically talk to you on the phone and cut you a check. That's common practice. We see it across the industry. And also, you're also free to move the money out of this plan if you're no longer working for the company, similar to how we would move money into the plan. So if you do have, if you're separating from service, you're no longer working for the company, you have money in the plan, you would reach out to retirement plan consultants, and they would help you roll those monies out. And also in turn, if you had monies that were outside in a retirement account that you wanted to roll into the plan, you can go and do that. There's a gal by the name of Stephanie Wolf, who's a dedicated representative at RPC that can help you with that, but also they have a wonderful mainline assistance and team there. They're wonderful people. They're a great organization. We've been very, very happy, and all of our clients have been very happy to work with retirement plan consultants. With that being said, I wanted to be mindful of your guys' afternoon, but also see if there was any remaining questions, any ideas, any thoughts, any comments either of you had.
The rollover. What was the name of who you talked to?
Yeah, so there's a gal by, Stephanie Wolf with 2 Fs. So Wolf like the animal with 2 Fs. Mm-hmm. And I can share with you her contact information. There's a 1-800 number on the bottom of almost every page that you'll see. So like this 877. Her actual extension, if you want to write this down, her extension is 2106. So 2106. She's a great, but if she's not available, there's dozens of representative client service people over there. But she gets it. She's really sweet and very proficient at her job. And I think from a timing standpoint, John, I don't know if you want to interject, but if there's a deadline internally that you guys have set to have people complete this before the end of the year, before Christmas, however that is, I would say don't delay as we get busy with the holidays. And we're going to put this on possibly on the back burner and plan whatever we've got coming up. But, get this taken care of. The online enrollment's only going to take 4 to 5 minutes, and then you'll be good shape.
Yeah, so no deadline, no date. Working with Jessica at Guidance Financial, sounds like the earliest we'll be able to start is January, because we have a quarterly enrollment period. And
yes.
Our conversation yesterday is kind of null and void based on that. So
okay.
It looks like January 1 will be the kickoff date for those that want to participate.
Perfect. And so with that being said, it's going to be the first payroll is going to be in the first pay date in January would be the effective date of when the first contributions would come out. So if you've got to get the withholding amounts in payroll, a week ahead of time, maybe set that and just as an understanding.
Yeah, that's how I see it. So, ladies, questions? I've worked with Mark and Ian for, it's been a while, very easy to work with. I think I've actually worked with Stephanie too at RPC. So there's really 3 entities. You have Alpha Capital Management, which is Mark and Ian. You have RPC, which is Retirement Plan Consultants. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
RPC, Retirement Plan Consultants, and then Guidance Financial is who I work with. So it's, what would you say, kind of checks and balances. There's not one entity doing everything.
Correct. Yeah, we all have our own distinct roles, and a good way to explain it is a triangle or a 3-legged stool. The stool does not stand up with only 2 legs. We all do different things. If you think Guidant is compliance, they handle the compliance side of things. RPC is going to be the website that each of you will go log into. They are where the money is technically coming from payroll to them in your account. You'll have access to the website. Their customer service teams are available. And then Mark and I are advisors. We help manage the 401k plan, get everything up and rolling. We manage the investments per quarter. And then we also do education to each one of you and also do meetings like this from an enrollment standpoint as well.
Excellent. Anything else, ladies? Anything else? All right.
When I roll over, so there's like a $50 fee or whatever on your end, but to pull it out of the other one, or is it the fee on the other end?
The issuer.
Okay.
Yeah. Steal money from once $50 before you split the door.
But I don't get charged interest on that money because I'm just reinvesting it, correct?
Correct. There's no penalty or taxes that would be withheld if you are moving money from a qualified account or a retirement account over to a qualified retirement account as well. The company that you're leaving, I'm just going to say Fidelity, John Hancock, Empower, whatever the provider is, for them to cut you a check and mail it to you and talk to you on the phone for 15, 20 minutes, they normally will have a $25 to $50 processing fee for them to basically liquidate the account and send you a check. And then also that would be the same process and similar process for RPC. It works very, very similar with almost every single provider. They would charge roughly the exact same amount to do the exact same things.
Okay. Great.
A very good question. Awesome. Well, if there's anything that you guys have questions on, feel free to reach out to us. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you.